BSNL Pune. Without wasting much time, let us start our first session. It will be delivered by Professor Dr. Rajeshri Raut Madam. Let me brief about her. She has done her PhD in error control coding from Nagpur University. She has 20 plus years of experience in teaching and 1.5 years of industrial experience. She has many awards and achievements on her name. Let me brief few of them. Nagpur City Mayor Award as a Woman Achiever, ISTE National Award for Innovative Research in Engineering, ISTE National Award for the Best Engineering Teacher, Nagpur University Best Teacher Award, IIFC New Delhi Shikshan Ratna Award. She is the only and the first lady to represent ISTE Maharashtra and Goa section as a section managing committee. She has authored 2 books. 6 research scholars have been awarded PhD under her guidance. Currently, she is Executive Council member, ISTE. She is also the Fellow of Institute of Engineers, India. The project guided by Dr. Raut Madam, titled Design of PSK System in Cognitive Environment, was awarded Best Engineering College Project for the Maharashtra State by ISTE. The sponsored projects successfully executed by her include projects from Amitech Electronics, Innotech Antennas Private Limited, Resort Tech Private Limited, in association with Indian Institute for Drones. Let me hand over the session to Professor Dr. Rajeshri Raut Madam. Thank you. Madam.
Yes. Very good morning to one and all. With the blessings of Almighty, we are all safe at home. First of all, let me wish you all a very happy World Telecommunication and Information Day. And it's really a blessing to be witnessing this.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. It is a pleasure to address young and talented brains listening and trying to learn from home. What we are doing right now, the distance learning, it itself speaks about our today's topic. So friends, we are discussing today opportunities for electronics and communication engineers. Next slide, please. This branch, electronics and communication, is a beautiful blend of electronics with communication. The global mobile data traffic is increasing every day. Every rising sun is registering a new technology in this mobile communication world. By the end of 2021, we can expect approximately 49 exabyte of data traffic, huge data traffic per month. More electronics and communication engineers will be required to handle such huge data traffic, and also will be required to handle the associated infrastructure for the same. Electronics and communication engineers will definitely have to play their role in defense, IT sector, the communication companies, the aerospace sector. So you see, the electronics and communication engineers are, we will fall short of these engineers when we look for the job opportunities. So our youth should definitely capitalize this opportunity. In fact, next slide, please. In fact, the crisis that we are facing today, the situation itself has made the opportunities of electronics and communication very obvious. Nowadays, it is very popularly being said and accepted that the I in that COVID-19 stands for innovation. Rather, I would say it urges you for being innovative, and being an electronics and communication engineer, you are capable for the same. Now, what are the opportunities? So on the screen that you see, the sanitization chamber, that is, the electronics part, then the robots, again the electronics part, the sensors, the wireless communication. Then what comes is the drones for surveillance and safety. And dear friends, the mobile that most of you are logged in through mobile now. Just remain on this slide, please. Remain on previous slide. So the mobile that you're using today, watching this session, even the online sessions going on throughout this lockdown period, what that mobile has turned into, it was previously just a gadget used for communication, mere talking or messaging or entertainment. But now it has turned into a classroom, your teacher. So for isn't it throwing you with several number of new job opportunities? And definitely all this with the statistics, with the analysis will be discussed by the industry experts. After my talk, they are there to tell you in numbers, in figures, what will be the job requirement. Well, all capitalizing all this, I am very happy to tell you that my students at Government Engineering Nagpur have realized this and have made the best out of it. So on the screen, what you see is students designing the drones. The students of Government College of Engineering doing that. Fine, of course, they under the guidance of Dr. Prashant Kadu sir and the Center for Creativity and Innovation team. So they were out there designing the drones, and not only designing, you see them on the police van flying the drones. So these are the electronics and telecommunication engineers. My dear friends, drones is a big area, and it is expected from you that now you definitely adapted and from the academicians to adapt it as a part of the curriculum. The study of the drones technology, the flying, flying requires a flyer requires a registration, because it is handling a totally new traffic over a new layer of I mean, it's not a road traffic now, it's not a even the airplane traffic, it is a different layer traffic. So this all will require electronics and telecommunication engineers. Change the slide, please. So for this, what is required? For this, you require a higher bandwidth. If you're saying about learning from distance, if you're saying flying of drones, if you're saying of so much data in air, what does it require? It requires a pathway, it requires a bandwidth, and of course, high-speed data over that bandwidth. So if somebody will ask you in today's world, what is the solution? The obvious answers by technology people will be the 5G. Just move on to the other slide, please. So 5G definitely is a promising technology. It has its many advantages. The slide of the advantages, please. So it's the major phase of mobile telecommunication and wireless system. It promises up to 20 gigabytes. 1 gigabyte is written, but it promises up to 20 gigabytes of the speed, data speed, the data traffic. Then it has the dynamic information. It is possible to give you dynamic information access, possible to provide uniform, uninterrupted, and consistent connectivity across the world. But my dear friends, still, this technology, it was launched in Korea in South Korea in 2018, December 2018, but it was banned in many countries up to December 12, 2019. Now, why so? Do you think why? I mean, do you realize why so? And I can name the countries. It was banned in Australia. It was banned in New Zealand. It was banned in Japan, Taiwan, even in United States of America. So why so? It is so because of the hazards associated with the 5G. The slide of the hazards, please. It is actually not only hazards. Let me talk about the technical drawbacks of the system also. Incompetent technological support in most part of the world. That is the infrastructure required for 5G is still, I mean, a thought of research for many of the countries, how to deploy it. It requires replacing of old devices with new ones. Then there comes the security and privacy issue yet to be solved, which is yet to be solved in the 5G technology by its inventors. Then the 5G transmitters are operating at lower power. So what it requires is deployment of several transmitters, several antennas, several transmitting base stations. Now this, my dear friends, will increase the radiation beyond expectation. And it is a high risk of health hazards from the radio frequencies. And that actually causes the radiation sickness, burns, cancer, and even genetic damage. So definitely you need to think that, is there any alternative, or is there some other way in which you can implement this 5G? Probably yes, definitely yes. Next slide, please. So now 5G is a technology which shifts the spectrum itself. I mean, there is spectrum shift. So let me first analyze, or let the technology expert first analyze that whether the bandwidth which is already functional, the infrastructure which is already laid for the existing bandwidth, is that being fully utilized? And the obvious answer for this is no. And you also can realize this. Now, why? Why so? You have television sets at your home. How many of you log on to the God channel, the Asta channel, and whatnot? Right? These channels are there, they're existing. The people have paid for getting the license, but then the consumers, the receivers, are not being tuned to those stations. That means there is no data over those channels. So that bandwidth is being wasted, is going in vain. So when already existing spectrum is underutilized, why not think of utilizing it? Now, what am I talking of? Let me cite an example. A day-to-day example. If you have visited the Pune city, you find roadways specially reserved, the track specially reserved for the buses. And on the other side, you have heaps and bounds of the two-wheelers, the four-wheelers, and they wait for their turn to cross the traffic signal. But unfortunately, they are through at the fourth time or the third time. Then what annoys them is, why not they are allowed to jump to the bus traffic when the bus is not there? My dear friends, this is what exactly is happening in the communication spectrum. The communication spectrum at one end, please change the slide. Please change the slide. The communication spectrum, as you see, with applications that are the mobile communication applications, they are overcrowded. And in the television band, you see a one or two receivers tuned up. Moreover, most of the television traffic is now being diverted to over the mobile. How many of you go for the serials on the television? Most of you are onto your the handheld mobile and watching the series. So most of the traffic now has come over here. So why pay for those channels, and why those channels be there? Okay, let them be there, and then why not think of putting this data over that traffic? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now, what I'm talking of is presently the commercial communication, the entertainment, the broadcasting, everything is done by technology, the static spectrum allocation technology, which is bandwidth, application specific bandwidth, meaning thereby that every application has a static bandwidth allocated to it. So it has to operate within that bandwidth. 200 megahertz, the television bandwidth, 800, 900, 1800, 1900, the mobile bandwidth, likewise. So I'm talking of, why not shift this data of the mobile over the television bandwidth? So this is called as the dynamic spectrum allocation. Let those who need use it. That means I'm talking of opening up the bus track for the general two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Of course, when the bus traffic is not present, because it is authorized, it is licensed to run on that track. So this requires artificial intelligence, the role of engineers, the role of software engineers. Fine. So once we do that, once we analyze that, yes, bus traffic is not there, once we analyze the television traffic is not there, we can move the data. This dynamic spectrum allocation technology is called as the cognitive radio technology. Of course, what it is, what are the aspects, everything, it requires one complete workshop to be dealt with. Right now, I cannot explain to you, but definitely the technology is clear to you. This is a technology of what? The dynamic spectrum allocation. That is, allocate as required. Let allocate in the sense, let it be used. Might be the license user is somebody else, but float it open for those who require it. It is just like renting your house when you are not requiring it. Now this, my dear friends, will require some paradigm shift. What it will require? Will your hard-held radios be hardware radios, strictly hardware radios, be capable of shifting from 800, 1900 to the 200 megahertz band? No. This will require what? The most flexible thing, that is the software for implementation. So cognitive radio becomes functional with a unit called as the SDR, that is shown on your screen, the software defined radio. So here is your job. Here is the role of an electronics and communication engineer to design this SDR, a highly reconfigurable system. That is the complete source encoder, the channel encoder, the modulator. All this will be in your laptop. All this will be in your computer. And what will be connected to your computer? A simple generic hardware. Might be the low noise amplifier, the antenna. And this will be a generalized thing, generalized hardware, generic, and rest all will be your software working on the frequency that is available. In addition to this, what your device will need is a spectrum sensing capability. Just like your Bluetooth that is there in your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth that is there in your gadgets now. You will be able to scan what all mobiles are nearby you, so that no need to send your data to the base station and route it to your mobile. Right now, even if the person is visible to you, because of fading, what happens? You are trying to make a call, the person is visible to you, but what do you get? You get that the person is out of coverage area. You say that the person is in front of you, and how is he out of coverage area? This happens because the signal does not travel from your mobile to that person's mobile. It travels to the base station to the master switching center, again the base station of the host, and back to that person. So in this travel, the signal fades, and this fading makes technically, communication wise, invisible. That person becomes invisible, though he is visual by your eyes. So this is the drawback of the current technology. But with cognitive radio technology, your device will be capable to sense its operating environment. What is it? To define it, cognitive radio technology, it is a technology which will be able to, which has a capability to sense its environment, operating environment, and a capability to adapt to the changes in the environment. Grab what is the spectrum which is empty and tune up to the spectrum for transmission of the data. So, my dear friends, what I propose over here is that capitalizing the underutilized bandwidth, can we not think of something called as the 5G based cognitive radio? So whatever data rates, whatever bandwidth is required for 5G, can it not be obtained from the underutilized band? So what is the necessity of the hour is something called as the 5G based cognitive radio system. Change the slide, please. This has already been explained how the cognitive radio works, sensing, analysis, and then adapting to the situation. Fine. So perhaps I do not say that cognitive radio technology is an alternative to 5G. Rather, then these two should go hand in hand. And what is expected from the telecom sector is the 5G based cognitive radio. So this will definitely remove the hazards of the 5G generation and ensure it to be a definitely promising, healthy communication technology. A technology that will ensure the data rates and spectrum bandwidth of 5G, but yet work in the existing underutilized space. This opens up opportunities for young talented engineers for a total technology revolution to meet the unexpected increased demand of its customers. It needs young brains to innovate, to design, and also to deploy this promising technology. This all will open up jobs for you. I wish to conclude with a statement from the bottom of my heart. Perhaps the survival of mankind today needs the services of young electronics and telecommunication engineers, because this is a world of social distancing. and everything through social distancing. That is what is wireless communication. I really hope I could convey the best of what I feel and what I know. I thank the organizers, MIT University, and the coordinator, Dr. Dhananjay Upasne sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I thank the participants of the webinar, and a special thank you to Obik Chatterjee, founder member Elentrica Tech, for the presentation support. Once again, I wish you a very safe life ahead and expect that you will definitely, all the electronics and communication related people will consider this as an opportunity and prove yourself to be useful for yourself, your society, and the world as a whole. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam.
Uh,
Really a great informative session. I'm sure the audience now had got an idea or might be started getting an idea about the technologies and the scope of EC engineers. Before I move ahead, I'm very had a great pleasure to welcome Mr. Jay Kumar Thorat Sahib, GM BSNL Pune. This webinar is organized